Okay, so we're going to pause here because I want to say something very, very important here. Okay, this is really off the charts important. Okay, so Golgotha during the time of Jesus was outside the city walls. Going this way right here, partway down, was a garden gate that went outside the city. So this area over here was actually outside the city during the time of Jesus. So then we're going to walk up here and check it out because it's so important to see. But up here a ways is the gate that probably Christ went through on the Via Dolorosa, we believe is the most biblical, that starts by Pilate's palace, where Herod's palace was, going to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So we're going to walk partway down here and we're going to see approximately where this gate would be. So you would go through this gate. It was called the Gennath gate, which means garden, and you would go through that, and then out where Golgotha was at one point in time, it was a quarry, but it was turned into a garden. But it was a place where people would be crucified. It was called the place of the skull. So it was a place that was really prominent where crucifixions would take place. And the Romans would always crucify people in the most visible places because they wanted to instill the fear of Rome in their subjects, that this is what's going to happen to you if you get out of line. It was a very, very severe, very serious way of keeping their people in line. So we're going to walk this way here. So we would be on the approximate route then that probably Jesus would have taken. So at this point then, you would still be inside the city. Then as we come up here, at this particular point here, okay, look up there. Can you see the arch there? This is the approximate location where the garden gate would be. Okay, now let's walk through here. Okay, so now we are outside the city. Okay, we're outside the city. Okay, so there would be a gate here. Okay, so at this time, the city is going this way, and it's kind of an L here. Okay, so we come down David Street, and that's still inside the city. So right here, the city wall is going to go basically over here to the wall just this side of Jaffa Gate. Okay, so this would be the city wall. Okay, and then the city wall would go down here a ways, and then it's going to come over this way. And then, so again, Golgotha during the time of Jesus was then outside the city walls. Okay. Now it's inside the city walls. But the city walls that were enclosed were built about 10 years after Christ's crucifixion. Then they enclosed this part of the city wall so that Golgotha then was inside the city walls. But at the time of Jesus, it was outside the city walls. So from here on out, you're outside the city walls, and the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is just right over there, a short distance, really close by. We'll be going there later on in our tour today. We're going to get over here because I believe, yes, we can see the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So right now I'm going to point out some things that are going to be absolutely mind-boggling. Okay? So this is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Okay? Now guess what road we're standing on right now? What would this have been? We are on the Cardo Maximus. Right underneath us is the Cardo Maximus. You see the white rounded dome up there? That's the Herva Synagogue now. The Cardo is just to the right of that. We're going to be seeing that shortly. So this would have been the Cardo Maximus going from the Damascus Gate all the way just towards the Zion Gate. It was the big, wide, huge wide with pillars on each side, with shops on each side. Glorious. Cardo means the heart. But what Hadrian did is that where Golgotha was again, he built this temple to Jupiter. And where the temple was, he built a temple, false god temple. When Hadrian designed the layout of the city, he designed it all around where Golgotha was, the new temple to the false god. So right where Christ was crucified, buried, rose again, the most significant event in God's timetable of history, Hadrian puts a false god right over that. So then right here's the Cardo Maximus, and then right off the Cardo Maximus, you would go up to the false god temple that he built over Golgotha. So then later, when Constantine tore it down and built the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, then you still had the Cardo, and then you would go up to the church right off the Cardo going up. Today you go around it and come in from the side, but in the time of Hadrian, the time of Constantine, the Byzantine period, then you would come off the Cardo right up to it. Quite fascinating. Look over here, you can see the Church of the Holy Sepulchre right there. And here's station number 9. And we're going to walk through this gate up here in a moment, this door, and we're going to be on top of the eastern side of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So at station number 9, Jesus falls the 3rd time. So at this point now, as we've talked, some of the sites are traditional, but when we get to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, they are absolute fact. Humbly said, I don't see how any reasonable person who does any research can deny this is the authentic place of Golgotha, because we have evidence going clear back in time and eyewitnesses that declare this is the spot. Okay, so now we're going to do something amazing. Let's go in here. We're going to take a left. Here in a moment, we are going to see the foundational wall of Hadrian's temple to Jupiter and Aphrodite that he built. Okay, so come on in here. We'll go against the wall here. The church that Constantine built would have started way before where we're at right now. See the dome right here? That is over what's called the Chapel of St. Helena. Helena was Constantine's mother. She converted to Christianity first, and then she had influence on her son, who was the Roman emperor, and so she was the one who persuaded and was kind of the mover to build many of the churches in the Holy Land. Church of the Nativity, Church of the Annunciation, Church on Paternoster Church. So this right here, there's a chapel down underneath here that we're going to see shortly. Yeah, we're on top of part of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So in Constantine's church, it would go farther this way. It was big, and you had kind of a church part, then you had an open area where Golgotha was, where Christ is crucified, and then beyond that, then you would have another area where the tomb was at. Okay, so this is the layout. So once again, the Cardo is running north and south. The church right now is facing east, and you access the church right off the Cardo. Go back in time to Hadrian. When he designed the city once again, he built the Cardo Maximus, and then he had over here, he had the temple to Jupiter and Aphrodite.
Outside. And the wall there, that marking that looks like a notch there. And then on the other walls, the other arches. Was this covered at one point with a church of some sort?
So what you're seeing today is from the Crusader period, because the Muslims tore down what Constantine built. And then the Crusaders in about 1050, 1100 AD, then they're going to rebuild the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So they design it differently. And again, now you access it from the other side. You have to go around to access it. And we're going to be doing that. We're going to be going back and then going around to access it. Okay, so now we're going to make our way back, and then we're going to go inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. We're going to see stations 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And then we're going to go see the foundational wall of Hadrian's temple, platform he built, and we're going to see Helena's chapel. So anyway, a lot of amazing things. Okay, so we're going to pick up our tour right back here. We've walked down from the upper part of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, So now we're coming back down. Of course, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre would be accessed to our left. And so we're going to go back down here to the Cardo Maximus. Now, as we're walking along here, there's something I want to point out to you. Hadrian, right beside this false god temple, he built a large plaza, an open area. What for? For worshipers to gather that are going to go to this false god temple. So there's this huge plaza right beside the temple that he built that was right out over here. And we're going to be walking up through that plaza as we return back from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. So just imagine, Church of the Holy Sepulchre right now is on our right, and then his plaza would be on the left. Now this isn't it right here, this is new. But the plaza back in Hadrian's time was right out over here, right beside the temple he built. Again, a large area because the temple he built was the center of the city, built right over Golgotha. So here you can see the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. We're going to go through this little arch here. And now we are at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. They are doing some renovations here, always doing renovations. Okay, so the Church of the Holy Sepulchre now is right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and go inside, and we're going to talk about stations 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And then we're going to look at the wall of Hadrian's platform that he built. It's not the walls of the actual temple he built, because he built a platform, and then on the platform he built the temple to Jupiter. But now, station number 10 is right here. It's outside. Station number 10 of the Via Dolorosa is where Jesus is stripped of his garments. Okay, so right beside this station 10, we're going to go inside and go up on top of Golgotha is then where Golgotha would be. So in the time of Jesus, Golgotha is outside the city, and it was a quarry at one time, but then later the quarry kind of went into abandonment, and so in its place was built a garden, and then there was burial tombs here. And inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre are burial tombs from the 1st century period. So there was different kinds of burial tombs at different periods in Israel's history. The burial tombs during Jesus' time were different than the burial tombs previously. And so what we find here are burial tombs from the time of Jesus. So that tells us that this was outside the city because people weren't buried in the city. Kings could be buried in the city, but the regular people, they did not have graveyards inside cities. Again, that tells us that Golgotha was outside the city. So station number 10 is right here. Do you guys want to go up there and see it from the outside? Let's go ahead and go up here and see it from the outside. Good, thank you. Doing good. Okay, so this is station number 10. Now it's not open, but you look through it and you can just see this is station number 10 where Jesus is stripped of his garments. And we're going to be going inside and we're going to be able to see the actual rock of Golgotha. So we're going to go inside the church. We're going to go to our right because Golgotha is right up here. Okay, so we're going to go up these stairs here. We are climbing up on top of Golgotha. Okay, so then right in front of us is station number 11. This is where Jesus is nailed to the cross, and you can see a picture of it there. So right here is where he's nailed to the cross. Station number 11. Okay, then we're going to step over here. We're seeing some amazing things here. And once again, this is the place. So then right here is station number 12. This is where Jesus then is on the cross, and then this is where he dies, on the cross right here. Now you can see some ancient stones. You see this bedrock here? You see this white rock? That is part of Golgotha. That's part of the stone of Golgotha. That's original bedrock stone of Golgotha. We know that it was a quarry, so this is evidence of that. Now there's a hole right here that we can look at, and you can actually put your hand in that hole and you can touch the stone. Okay, so this is station number 12. Jesus dies on the cross. And then station number 13 is then where Jesus is removed from the cross. And that's in between stations 11 and 12. And it is right here with this picture of Mary in it with her heart pierced. She would be grieved by all that happened. So right here is then station number 13. Then we've looked at this stone here. I want to show you something over here. Can you see this crack in the stone? That is believed to have been caused when Jesus died on the cross. It says there was an earthquake. And so it's believed that right here is where the earthquake actually broke the rock. Sometimes people have a hard time with the way it looks, but we have 2,000 years of time that's gone by. We have, the way they decorate things. So you just have to kind of look past. Some people have a problem with the Church of the Holy Sepulchre just because of the way it's adorned. But you just have to set that aside if you don't like it and just think about the things that did happen. And we have diagrams, we have photos of how it would have looked like. It's, like I say, it's a little bit different, but just imagine you've got a rock quarry here, you've got a garden, and then just over here, we're going to walk to actually where the tomb was. The tomb was really where he was crucified, and where the tomb is, were relatively close together. And that's biblical because it says in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden and there was a new tomb. Okay, well, let's go ahead and go back down Golgotha, and we're going to be looking at some of the stone now underneath right here. So we're going to go down and look underneath where Golgotha is and look at it from below. So we were just up there. So now we're going under or beside Golgotha. We'll step over here. Okay. And now you can see the bedrock of Golgotha here through the window. And then you can see part of the bedrock here of Golgotha. So now let's step on over here, and we're going to get another side angle of Golgotha, ancient stone. Okay, so here you can see more of the ancient stone of Golgotha. Okay, now we're going to go down into the chapel of Helena, and we're going to see the wall of the platform that Hadrian built to this false god temple that he made. Now, all around the church now are little coves or little areas, nooks, depicting different things that have happened at the place here, different events of the crucifixion and things like that. In another video, we'll be talking about that. So now we're going down to this chapel, and understand when you came off the Cardo, then you would come up to this Temple Mount platform, and then you would come up to Golgotha as well. If you look on the walls as you're going down, what do you see? A lot of the crosses. Those are from pilgrims, ancient pilgrims who have come and put a cross here. Okay, so this is the Chapel of Helena. Do you remember that dome we saw when we were up on top of the church? That's it. We were just up on top of here. But do you see this over here? This down here? This was from Hadrian's platform right through here. So what date is this? 135 AD. So we know at 135 AD that this was known to be Golgotha. We also have in a room right over here, there is a writing from early Christians dating even before this that says, "Yes, we will go, Lord." This down here, this was from Hadrian's platform right through here. So anyway, this is the Chapel of St. Helena. And then down underneath is a place where you can see bedrock, and also where it's believed that the cross of Jesus was found. Helena claims to have found it. No, this isn't original from the time of Constantine. This would be later. You can see though, this is from Crusader period. You can see the architecture is Crusader. Pillars, the columns are Crusader. Okay, we're going to go up now to station number 14 and see the tomb of Jesus. We'll actually go inside it. We'll do a little explanation there. Okay, so then right up ahead of us is the tomb of Jesus. We'll step up here. Okay, we'll get an angle right here. Now, this is nothing what it looked like during Jesus' time, okay? This has been built, rebuilt a number of different times. Unfortunately, Hadrian destroyed much of the tomb. The Muslims destroyed much of the tomb, so there's not a lot really of the tomb, although they have gone down underneath and they can see evidence of it. There is part of the bedrock stone that is preserved in there. We'll go inside. There's part of through a window you can look, but it is where the tomb was, but this is all new, and this is elaborate to protect it. Once again, people coming here have a hard time with all this, but you have to just kind of set it all aside and just go back in time and just think, this is the place. If it wasn't the place, why would all this be here? If it wasn't the place, why do we have so much history going way back to these early Christians, right after the time of Jesus? We have all the evidence here. So wherever Golgotha is, has to have evidence of buildings and ruins around it. And this has it all. And like I said, there's eyewitness accounts. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go inside the tomb. Okay, you guys ready to go in? The first part of the tomb is called the Chamber of the Angels. There was kind of two parts of the tomb. So you go into the first part here. This is the tomb. This is where Jesus is going to be buried. And then 3 days later, he's going to rise from the dead. There would be angels here to roll away the stone. So right here is, just think about it. All that happened right here. Absolutely amazing. The resurrection of Jesus Christ is the monumental event in all of the course of history that shows us that we, like him, are going to be raised to live a new life, eternal life.